How is everybody doing? Welcome back to another episode of the Banker Next Door. I am your host, Dr. Joe Berquist. Today, I wanted to talk to everybody about how bank boards can help with the implementation of artificial intelligence or AI. I came across a great article in Bank Director. So this is called How Bank Boards Can Support the Implementation of AI. Developing and deploying an effective AI program requires clear direction and strong oversight from the board. So, why I thought this was interesting is that obviously AI is becoming a huge thing, and you're seeing a kind of a massive usage of AI. I'll put it that way. I mean, a lot of people using ChatGPT, Grunk, number of the different, Bard from Google, as well as not just what is it? What am I thinking? Not just like the ChatGPT, word versions, but also images, deep fakes, all that kind of stuff out there. So a number of different AI systems out there are being utilized by a lot of people right now. So I thought it was interesting because I think this is something that bank boards should be talking about, and bank executive teams should be talking about. Are your people currently using AI that you're not even aware of? Like, are they using stuff that you may not know that they're doing? And then, so how do you control that? How do you oversee it? How do you make sure that people are doing the right things with it? So let's kind of jump into this for a second here. So each year, Ernst & Young, E&Y, and the Institute of International Finance surveys financial institutions to better understand the direction of the banking industry and the challenges ahead. The most recent survey makes clear that financial services institutions continue to move forward with artificial intelligence and machine learning and are emphasizing governance of these processes. More than 8 in 10, 84% report the wide use of AI models in production today. 86% expect the integration of generative AI. That's what I was that's the word I was trying to find a minute ago. generative AI to significantly or moderately increase the number of models in their inventory. Many recognize the greater governance burden and have assigned a C-suite executive to oversee AI, ML ethics, and governance, or are in the process of doing so. Bank boards are in a unique position to support their organizations as they deploy these new models, and we recently identified several key areas where boards can support their organizations, accelerate the implementation of AI, and prepare themselves for effective oversight. So, who would those C-suite executives be? I would be venturing to guess if you have a chief information officer, a chief digital officer, maybe your chief risk officer. I would think that those would generally be the executives that would be have the most knowledge, potential knowledge around AI, and would be the ones that would probably be tasked with the oversight of this. So then this goes on to basically say, so here are 3 actions that a bank board can consider. So number 1, support for strong technology foundation for accurate data. For many banks, data remediation and deploying next generation infrastructure can be expensive and time consuming. Boards should play an active role in overseeing the large capital expenditures that are likely necessary to prepare for this next wave of technology. They can maintain accountability by challenging overly optimistic plans while supporting necessary investments. And then it goes on to say, number 2, support the integration of AI into the organization. So boards can guide management to take a broader perspective around AI instead of focusing solely on whether AI can improve a specific process or drive efficiency. They can direct management to determine how AI can help differentiate the business from competitors. Number 3, weave responsible AI into the fabric of the company. AI creates new risks for companies in areas such as intellectual property rights, bias, and model transparency. Responsible AI programs should add a governance and oversight layer to manage the risks in development and deployment. Getting AI wrong may cause harm to companies and their boards. No duh. AI policy oversight should be a key board mandate, and companies should integrate responsible AI framework into their overall risk management programs. So how can directors or how directors can restructure their board for AI oversight, ensure that the right skills are in the boardroom. A recent observation of the trends impacting board composition in financial services reveals that high performing bank boards are careful to continually augment and update their own skills, knowledge, and composition. We are seeing increased focus on current director education and reboarding, as well as onboarding of new directors to ensure that directors and boards remain fit to provide clear oversight and strategic guidance for their companies, particularly regarding quickly moving technologies. Additionally, the demand for technology and operations expertise is rising, fueled by emerging technologies and the increasingly complex matrix of risks and opportunities that they enable. Determine where oversight of AI should reside. To help their organizations fully leverage the benefits of AI, boards will need to have discussions that go beyond risk and compliance policies. A common question is whether there should be a designated technology committee. The answer is it depends. Key questions that directors should consider around a committee include, given the size of the board, what is the ideal number of committees to work effectively? Which committees has the bandwidth and resources to address another key topic like AI oversight? Do the committee's new responsibilities overlap with the scopes of other committees? And will board charters need to be reviewed and updated if new committees or responsibilities are added? So, very good questions, very good things to think about. So, now here, and I think this is a great question here at the end. A common question is whether there should be a designated technology committee. So, yes, I think you should have in I am trained in the world of what's called business process management or business intelligence. There's a couple different words out there, a couple different terms that you could describe it. Basically, it is the engineering of processes and process knowledge throughout an organization. And how does technology tie into strategy, and how do those two things come together? How do you chart all the processes within an organization? How do you determine bottlenecks? How do you discover what's called customer journey mapping? And how do you figure out the customer experience and all that? So in that world, a lot of times it makes a lot of sense in an organization to set up what's called like a center of excellence, like a COE. And this to me is the kind of issue that needs to be with a COE. So in a COE, you bring in a bunch of different members of the organization, and that becomes the forum for things like this. Employees, certain employees in certain departments want to use AI. Okay, you got to bring it to the COE first. The COE will then discuss, okay, what are the pros and cons of letting this individual or letting this department use AI? How are they going to use it? What are they going to use it for? How does that work? What are the potential pitfalls of that? And then and then they will go through that. And typically your COE is going to be chaired by one of the C-suite executives. So say it's chaired by the chief and information officer. So then the chief information officer would take the recommendation back to the C-suite, and they would go over it, make the choice. Maybe it has to go up to the board, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just something that gets discussed at the board meetings. But I think that this is the type of situation where a center of excellence could really come in handy. In terms of trying to determine what's the best way to handle it, like where should the AI oversight reside, basically. So let's go back up for a second here, and let's just talk about these three things here. So support a strong technology foundation for accurate data, basically talking about that we're going to have large capital expenditures. Well, yes and no. I mean, if you're talking about machine learning and trying to create like your own AI, then yeah, you'll probably have some huge capital expenditures there. But if you're going to just utilize ChatGPT and some of the other things out there on the market, I mean, that's not going to cost you a ton of money. They want businesses to start integrating and using it, so they're making it, I think, rather affordable right now. Number two, support the integration of AI into the organization. Yes, and I think you need to be amazingly careful about that. And then number three, that gets into number three, which is weave responsible AI into the fabric of the company. No. right now, I think, AI is just emerging. And like you said, it does say in here, like right here, it's like AI creates new risks for companies in areas such as intellectual property rights, bias, and model transparency. So I'll give you a perfect example. You start using AI to underwrite your loans. You're going to start to get, just like if you have an automated loan process, you have to answer a lot of questions as far as like, well, what's in those models? Is there biases built into into those models? Could the biases happen kind of known or unknown? What kind of data do you have to justify that the biases that could be there don't exist? So, and the same thing goes with, now you have an automated system, and you put AI on top of that. There's just, I think that there's just a tremendous amount of risks there, and you're going to have to be ready to answer a lot of questions to, I think, make regulators happy, auditors happy. So I think you need to, it's one of those moments where, like, I think you need to go slow. The other thing is, I think you need to keep a very tight control over who is and who is not utilizing these tools in your organization. I would say if somebody doesn't need to be using this stuff at the moment, then they shouldn't be using it. And again, and that's for, you're trying to keep them out of trouble as much as you're trying to keep the organization out of trouble. So I think he did, again, and these are just my thoughts, my musings, if you will. I think that the organization should experiment with AI and basically look at what's out there on the market and look at how it can, because AI could really help you in marketing campaigns and writing press releases and other things like that. I mean, there's a lot of uses that you could put AI into. I just think that it's just starting to emerge now, and this is going to take many years to unfold. And I think that AI 5 and 10 years from now is going to look obviously very different and a lot more sophisticated than it is today. And and who knows, to my horror, might end up replacing a lot of jobs in banking. But we'll see. We'll have to see how that plays out. I mean, right now, looking at the AI tools and the things that's out there, I could tell people AI is not replacing a whole bunch of jobs tomorrow. That ain't happening. I think a lot of this AI stuff is a little bit overhyped at the moment. But but like I said, it's going to get better. That's the thing. It's going to get better, and then we'll have to, see what happens here. But again, I thought this was a great article just from the board perspective of how boards can help to integrate AI into an organization. I think these are definitely some very good recommendations. I really like the part at the end about, how directors can restructure their board for AI oversight. How do you, determining where oversight of AI should reside, some great questions there. So I just think it's some great things to think about. And if you sit on a bank board today, and if you sit on a bank board today and you're kind of having these, or you're not having or haven't had these conversations yet, you definitely need to have it. You definitely, because I guarantee you there are a lot of people in your organization that are at least messing around with AI, and if they're not doing it at work, they're definitely doing it at home. So I think you definitely want to start talking to people in the organization about, like, hey, are you playing with different AI tools out there? What do you like? What don't you like? And I would definitely start, putting together maybe a committee or a center of excellence to basically say, like, okay, we need to consider all of this technology, these different AI tools, machine learning, all these different things that are out there, and start to put together, what are the pros and cons, what are the benefits, what are the costs, and how do we, if we do want to start rolling some of these things out, how do we do it? What are the guardrails that we have in place? What are the restrictions we put on people with this stuff? So you definitely need to be having those conversations at the board level, at the C-suite level, and making, at least considering the possibilities of what is going to happen here with some of this stuff. So, but anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. If you like this episode, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Please make sure to follow us on follow the podcast on YouTube, Rumble, and all the major podcast platforms. Please make sure to leave your comments down below, as I always love getting back to people on their comments. I hope everyone has a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Please check out some of the other episodes I have out there right now, particularly the weekly banking update. And I will see everyone again next week. Take care.